We earned this energy. So let's get out of here! Extinction to all traitors! A waste of time, Megatron!
Frustrated with the Insecticons' treachery, Megatron is forced to create new Deluxe Insecticons.
Fill Venom Sting! Autobot to stop them!
The Transformers from Hasbro.
What is up, my Transformers family? We are back on George Reviews, and we are back doing vintage Transformers. We are counting down the 1985 catalog. We're on the Decepticon side, and we are at number 11. It is the leader of the Deluxe Insecticons, Venom. All four of the original Deluxe Insecticons were designed by Art Mike for a company called Takara Toku Toys. And they were called the Armored Insect Battalion Beatrice, whatever that was. But they were also piloted by smaller beings, human beings in suits, sort of like the Diaclone pilots. They had their own version of that. But Hasbro got the licensing from eventually Bandai, because Bandai wound up buying Takara Toku Toys, if I'm saying that correctly. And Hasbro was able to import the Deluxe Insecticons to the United States, but they were not able to use the likeness in the cartoon, and this is one of the reasons why we do not have reissues from Hasbro to this day. I don't have the box or tech spec from this guy, but I do have the info, so let's get down to what Hasbro wanted us to know about Transformers Deluxe Insecticon Venom. Function: psychological warfare. Motto: friends are more dangerous than enemies. Will use his poisonous talents even on fellow Decepticons because he trusts no one and suspects everyone is trying to usurp his role as leader. His stinger can discharge fluids harmful to mechanical and organic life, corrosive acids, destructive catalysts, paralyzing toxins, and others. Stinger can penetrate quarter-inch steel, but sometimes gets stuck and breaks off. Flies at 15 miles an hour for 300 miles. Carries Electro Blaster in robot form. Now for his technical readout. Venom's strength is a 3. Intelligence is a 9. Speed is a 3. Endurance is a 6. Rank is a 8. Courage is a 9. Firepower is a 8. And his skill is an 8. Okay, let's take a closer look at Venom, and let's rotate his head. It kind of rotates around, get his little stinger out. And in case you didn't know, he is based on a real insect called a cicada. The original Beatrice Beetle Battalion was done closer to the true insect colors, but Hasbro chose to go with a bright orange and a bright green, I guess to make it look less realistic and more friendly to children. But here it is. Mine doesn't have any stickers on it, save for the rub symbol right here. So we get that activated. And you can see he is an authentic Decepticon right there. This entire portion right here that becomes his chest is die cast. The rest of the figure is plastic. Venom is the least articulated in his insect mode. I guess because his legs only move at a single hinge at the connector point. So that, I mean, that's still 6 points of articulation. And his wings also move. They rotate and they move in and out. I got one a little bit looser than the other one. So you can get a few different poses out of it in his insect mode. And of course his head moves, and you can pretend like he's about to come in for a sting. He has these giant red bug eyes. These eyes are actually die cast, and they are the hinge that rotate his head. Back underneath Venom, we have some date stamping. We have Art Mike, we have Bandai, made in Japan 1984 underneath him. So he does say Bandai as opposed to Takara Toys. And this Venom, he has some pretty good molded in detail in the die cast of what becomes his chest in robot mode, and what his thorax thing back here is. Has some robotic panels to it. He looks pretty cool. I think he's the coolest looking one out of the 4 Deluxe Insecticons in robot mode and robot mode. So speaking of robot mode, let's get to it right now. Let's get this guy transformed. I've only done it a couple times, so you're going to have to bear with me. I don't want to break it. All the Deluxe Insecticons are very creaky when it comes to transformation. We're going to pull this leg out and rotate it around. Same thing here. Oh, rotate the wrong way. Rotate it around this way. And bring the legs down. He has feet underneath here. Right here. Now, the legs are supposed to separate, but they are very hard to slot out on mine, so I'm going to say that for last. I'm going to bring the arms out. They slide out and then slide down. Like this. Get the arms up. I'm going to move his Insecticon arms to his back. And rotate. Now the wings are kind of weird because they just kind of hang out in robot mode. I'm going to rotate these down. Bring his arm down. And it kind of hinders his articulation a bit. As far as putting his arms down now. Some people leave the wings up. Some people leave them down so they're not as in the way. So I'm going to leave them down for right now. I might change them later. And then now I have to separate the thighs. And again, mine are very stiff. And a lot of these Deluxe Insecticons can be very fragile. So I'm going to go off camera, stick a little pin in here and slide these apart. Well, I figured I'd show you, but got to slot out the thighs right here, the upper hips, so he can get a wider stance, and the head just wants to rotate a lot. But here is Deluxe Insecticon Venom transformed. I think he looks better wings down, but I'm going to wing him up because that's how most of the promotional images have him, artwork. I'm going to bring him up, and they just awkwardly just hang out right here. Then if you got a loose wing like mine, it wants to slide out. And you can prop up the wings with some of his legs from the back like this. But I don't know. Unlike a lot of the other Deluxe Insecticons, I was never a big fan of these guys. So even in my collection, a lot of them aren't complete. But I have the accessories. The guy threw these in for this guy as I was walking away when I purchased it. He called me back and was like, I got his stuff. And normally I just bust the bag. Normally I don't open these up, but like I say, this guy is not one of my favorite dudes. So we're going to get this bag open. Take a look. All right, we have an instruction booklet. We have, looks like a mail away catalog. We have a decoder for the box I don't have. And we have his unused minty sticker sheet, which is very cool. We get some weapons. We get some type of axe. We get some type of axe right here. And we get one blaster. So let's take a look at his booklet. Very cool stuff. And his wings are up right here. But they are sharply up on here. I don't even think you can pull that off. Can you pull that off? I don't know. I know they rotate. But nah, with it, the way his hands are, you can't pull that off. The way his arms are. Hey, back to the book. He has a very sleek design, very Robotech-ish design right there to his body. It says Evil Insecticon Venom. The book open. They always open from left to right. Alright, well, gotta flip it over. Alright, again, we have the artwork for Venom. We have the contents. Everything he comes with. Insect mode, transformation, transformation, transformation. Flip his feet up, turn over. More transformation. Arms come down. Wings go to his back. So his wings are meant to be up like that. Just like that. And they're up perfectly to the back like this. I wonder if I can actually pull. I doubt you can pull that off, but I'm going to give it a shot. And it shows you where to put the sticker. Show you how to use the decoder and the rub sign. Right, let's see what type of mail away. I know this is a mail away. Seen it before. So we have the Omnibots mail away, Power Dasher, the Stars headquarters, flipping it over. We have the Time Warrior watch. That thing goes for a ton of money. So this is a little bit different than a lot of the other ones that I have, but still pretty cool. All right, let's bring Venom closer and take a look. We'll start with his head. He looks like he's wearing a helmet. His head looks like a helmet with a visor or a separate headpiece that could be behind it. But the visor is definitely a secondary piece within the helmet. And this guy, looks like he's part of the Macross whole Robotech thing. And as a kid, I didn't know that, but I just knew he wasn't a Transformer. I didn't know about the Diaclone and Takara, but I knew he wasn't one of those other guys. And I kind of passed on him because of that, and the bright colors, and he wasn't in the cartoon. So that mixture, he was like an easy pass, because you just could tell that he was not one of the boys, if you know what I'm saying. But he has some molded details on the sides of his head and on his forehead right there. It has like a little divot in the middle of his eye or his nose or whatever that would be. It's a little divot right there. Nice molded in pecs in his chest. He has molded in the abdomen area. He's a very good looking robot. Very distinct hips. And again, you can see he's beyond most Generation 1 Transformers as far as his design. Separate legs, no pin, different toes going on or whatever. Let's get this guy a little bit of an articulation rundown. His head does not 360. He's connected at this die-cast joint right here. But he can look up and down. It kind of rolls freely. Bobs wherever it wants to. No left or right. His arms, he is probably the most articulated guy of the Deluxe Insecticons. His arms will do a full 360. You get that out of the way. He even has some in and out right here. There's nothing at the waist. Coming to his legs, he can get a full kick to the front. And we can move this. He can get a full kick to the back, which is incredible. No real side to side, but he has a thigh swivel, which is almost non-existent throughout Generation 1 on both of his legs. Then, to top it off, he has a knee bend. He can get a blast off. And even though it's transformation, he can articulate his toe. So there is a ton of articulation on this guy when compared to other Generation 1 Transformers. And again, there's no stickers on his body. They are on the sticker sheet. Never applied them. I just might throw them on this guy. But he does come with a blaster. And unlike other Deluxe Insecticons, he can hold the gun and aim it at whoever he wants, high and low. He can aim it out to the side a little bit, bring it in, which is fantastic compared to the other guys. Speaking of his hand, he has a little bit of a molded thumb. It's not that impressive, but still, he has a lot going on compared to his brethren. Then he has this like brutal type slashing axe. Get this in his hand. And he can carve up some Autobots. Very impressive figure indeed. And if you never had a Deluxe Insecticon, these guys are bigger than you think. So with that, it's time to give Venom the size up and the rundown. Here is Transformers Generation 1 movie reissue Hound, fellow 1985 Decepticon Astro Train, Generation 1 Sideswipe, Buzzworthy Goldbug. Now for some Transformers that did not come from Takara or Hasbro. Here's fellow Deluxe Insecticon Chop Shop, fellow 1985 Decepticon Shockwave, Autobot Whirl, and the big guy, Omega Supreme. Stepping outside of Transformers, here's G.I. Joe Classified Serpentor. Representing the Thundercats, here's the Ultimates Slive. And the last one, Marvel Legends Venom with Venom. Alright, now I want to put Venom next to some vintage artwork. And while he's super articulated compared to other Transformers, he still can't quite pull this off. Alright, we've come to the part where we started to wind down the video, and I'm going to give everybody some buying tips from Generation 1 Venom. I never had them as a kid. I never really experienced. I only bought one, but my tips are the same for Generation 1 Transformers across the board. Try to buy them in person so you can pick them up and take a look. He has a die-cast chest, so you want to make sure he has a little paint chipping as possible. You want to get the most minty figure you can if you're anything like me, and you also want to buy complete because his weapons, I think the set of his weapons go from anywhere between, depending on high end, low end, between $35 to $45 to buy these weapons complete together, and then they can go anywhere between $25 to $35 individually. And some people consider the box complete. I don't, but I do like to have the paperwork, like the instruction booklet. I need to get the booklet for the rest of my guys, and these booklets go for between $15 to $30 on their own. Which is like, wow, which is why I don't have them for like the other guys. The guy threw this in for me and I was happy to have it. So, and the legs are easily broken off. I want to make sure all the legs are intact. And the wings tend to crack and break. You want to make sure those are intact. No damage to your figure. As far as reissues, there are no official Generation 1 reissue for this guy from Hasbro or Bandai, which I think Bandai's missing an opportunity. This guy, complete on the secondhand market, he's about $100. Complete and in good condition, unbroken, you know, good paint on him, stickers are good. You're going to pay like $100. And they probably could reissue this guy for about $55 easy. So that's all I got as far as buying tips. And I try to give a Transformer childhood story about these guys from when I was little, but I never had them as a kid. I told you in the review, I passed on them, kind of regret it. I could have had more toys, but I was like a little spoiled ass kid, so I kind of let it ride. Because he just didn't seem transformery as what I know now as Diaclone. You could tell he wasn't one of those guys. Yeah, not one of my favorite guys. Clearly the best Deluxe Insecticon out there. And it's also been said that if he had been introduced into the cartoon and been able to been used more, he would have been the leader of all the Insecticons. And I've read that in the unofficial guides and different material. Never actually heard that from Hasbro. I kind of disagree with that, because that's like saying Motor Master would have been the leader of all the combiners or something like that. I think they're individual factions, and then they would have stayed individual factions, but I don't know that for a fact. That's just my opinion. What's yours? That's all I got for you guys. I want to thank you all for joining me for another episode of George Reviews. The reviews where every toy has a story, and I'll see you in the next chapter.